finish hopping on and then we'll get started. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Hi everyone, welcome to our second general UL PPS meeting of the semester. Glad that you're all here with us tonight. And before we get started, just a couple of general announcements. Please turn your camera on. We want to see your face, and it just shows us that you are also paying attention. And we have a very exciting speaker tonight, so you'll want to be paying attention for sure. Also, we will be taking attendance at the end of the meeting, so please be sure to stay on and for that, because if you don't log yourself as coming, then we won't know and it'll count against you. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mr. Ty Harp. He is the admission coordinator from the DO school in Monroe. So I will turn it over to him. Mr. Ty, it's all yours.
Thank you. As Matthew said, my name is Ty Harp. I'm the admissions coordinator at VCOM Louisiana. Before we get started, since I'm very untechnologically savvy, let me make sure I can share my screen real quick. Okay, is everybody seeing that?
Yeah.
We're good, perfect. There we go. Sorry. Try to make it a little bit more professional. All right. So I am Ty Harp. I'm the admissions coordinator at VCOM Louisiana. I'm excited to be speaking with y'all today. This is actually my first stop on my little tour for the fall semester. So I'm excited to get it going too. We're going to try to share some good information with y'all today, hopefully get you fired up for admissions here at VCOM, and hopefully we'll see you sometime. We have a few events coming up. If you're interested in that, we have an open house that's going to be virtual from 12 to 4 on October 22nd. You can go to vcom.edu and search open house and you can register for it. And it's kind of a come and go thing. We're going to walk around the campus, try to show you as much as we can, but don't feel like you absolutely have to stay all 4 hours. If you just want to pop in and see what it's all about, that's another thing you can do as well. So just want to keep that on your radar as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. So VCOM Louisiana, I think it's been a phenomenal opening. We've just started here. We actually have 2 classes on campus now. We are going through the admissions process for the 3rd class. So we're learning, we're growing by the year. So everything's kind of evolving around here, but it's been really good. And I think the Monroe community has accepted this very well. So the first thing I want to share is a quote from an osteopathic physician that I think really sums up the osteopathic approach and also really tailors into how we approach medicine, patients, and just kind of overall the medical experience here at VCOM Louisiana as well. So it says, defined health should be the object of the doctor. Anyone can find a disease. So with that being said, let's get into VCOM Louisiana. Okay, so I believe that every good organization is always guided by their mission. At VCOM, I do believe that we fully meet our mission. So our mission is to prepare globally minded, community-focused physicians to meet the needs of rural and medically underserved populations and promote research to improve human health. So as you can see, globally minded and community focused are both bolded. If you're thinking about it logically, you might think, well, those are kind of two opposite ends of the spectrum. But as we go through this PowerPoint, hopefully I can show you that we're meeting both sides and achieving our mission. This is really what guides us each and every day, no matter whether I'm giving you a presentation, we're dealing with patients or whatever. This is what all VCOM employees and students, we all center ourselves around. So a little bit of history. We do have 4 campuses. I'm going to slide to the next slide to show you this. So we started off in Blacksburg. So when VCOM was initially created, obviously we're trying to serve the medically underserved. The founder and the president saw that there was a big need for physicians in the Blacksburg area, which is also home to Virginia Tech. So that's where they set up shop at a medical school. They noticed that Spartanburg, South Carolina, they kind of moved along the Appalachian Mountains and got to Spartanburg and realized that was the exact same thing. Much farther than that, you kind of get out of the mountains. So then they moved over to Auburn, and now we're over here in Monroe, Louisiana in the Delta region. So we serve all that. So that's how we kind of migrated to where we are. VCOM is pretty specific on where they choose their locations, but it's all based on this medically underserved in areas that really need medical attention and physicians in that same area, where what we're really trying to do is train people that will want to come back and serve their small town communities. And that's one thing that really stuck with me. So I'm actually from East Texas, of a town of 3,500 people. So extremely, extremely small. So even a place like Monroe or Lafayette, I mean, I might as well be in New York City to me. But so that was something that really attracted me to it. But what we're trying to do is we're not trying to have people like me go to VCOM and then end up in Dallas or Houston, New Orleans, these big cities that really everybody goes to. We're trying to serve these small local areas that really truly need the help. And so that's kind of how the location of the school started. And so this is where we are today. So what is a DO? I think a lot of people know what an MD is. And when you hear DO, a lot of people are like, are you really a doctor? Are you a full doctor? Kind of what does it all entail? So I think the easiest way to explain it is to compare an MD and a DO. So we both go to 4 years of medical school. You'll complete an internship and a residency. You can practice any specialty. For some reason, we have heard prospective students say that, well, I thought I was limited in what I could do as a DO. No, that is not the case. You can really do anything you want to. So whatever you set your mind to, you can absolutely do it. That old saying still holds true. You must pass your boards and get your state license, obviously, to do all that. You can prescribe medication. The two things where we kind of differ from MDs, allopathic physicians, is we put a big emphasis on primary care. And then we have to complete 200 hours of musculoskeletal training, which is what we call osteopathic manipulative medicine. And these 200 hours are built into your curriculum during your time here at VCOM. And so that's something that you receive a lot of hands-on training. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but it's a lot of healing with the hands. You learn to manipulate the body, and osteopathic physicians really put an emphasis on using your hand to diagnose. They really try to use feel, touch, and look at the patient as a whole. And it's really based off the belief that the body can regenerate itself. And I actually sat through a osteopathic manipulative medicine faculty development the other day, and it's really true. You think that the body can heal itself, and you obviously have to realize that. And the Dr. Sneed was making the point of, if you don't believe that the body could heal itself, we'd all be walking around with tons of cuts on us at all the time. So since the body can do that, let's not get in the way of that. Let's just try to, just lend and speed up that process a little bit more. And it doesn't always have to be with medicine or anything like that. It can be with your hands. So I know I've already covered a lot. Does anybody have any questions at this point? We're good. All right, we'll move forward. So we are inspired by our roots. It's actually Interesting. So the first quote that I read to you was actually it was a quote made by this man. His name's Andrew Taylor Still. Everybody, you might hear him referred to as AT Still. He was actually an allopathic physician during the Civil War, and he started looking at the overall field of medicine and realized there was kind of a hole. So he sought out to really fill up that hole and kind of bridge that gap and try to make medicine as complete as he could at the time. And so he came up with these 4 principles. The top principle is the one that I'll focus on the most. It's actually, if you ever visit VCOM Louisiana, this is actually on the front of our school. So our students, our faculty, we all walk by and see it every single day. And it's the body is a unit of the mind, body, and spirit. So it goes really into the osteopathic approach, excuse me, of taking the patient as a whole. Don't just treat the disease. You need to treat the patient as a whole and get them back to health. So the other 3 are very important, but we really like to focus on the first one and let that really guide us. So the next thing we'll talk about there are actually 4 little categories, I guess you would say. So we have outreach, and we'll talk about community outreach and the global outreach. We'll also talk about research, diversity, and our sports medicine program. So the first thing we'll talk about is our global outreach. And as you can see, we have a ton of pictures. These are all pictures from international trips that our students and faculty have taken. And the next slide really gets into this. So we have 4 different medical clinics in the 3 different countries. So we have 2 in Honduras, 1 in El Salvador, and 1 in the Dominican Republic. And so our faculty and students they usually take trips here. And as you can see, that's from January 2019 to 2020. So COVID has really killed us, and we're hoping we're able to get back to that. But for now, these are the stats we have. But we do go and visit these medical clinics and really provide healthcare for the local communities. One thing that I think is very cool and very neat about these clinics is once we go there and visit, we don't leave and they don't receive healthcare for the rest of the time or until we get back or whatever. So these stay fully staffed. We usually partner with Caribbean medical schools and medical students, but this allows the local community to see, for example, one of our physicians, and then later on down the road, if something pops up in 3 months, they have somebody else to go to. I mean, we don't want to be the people that have all these great things, come in for a week, and then we don't see somebody for a year and a half. That we don't really feel like that's really meeting our mission. So we keep them staffed year round and make sure that the local community are receiving full care to the best of our ability and to the best of the staffers' ability. So from a community standpoint, it's been in full force this year with Ida coming in. I hope every single one of you and your families are safe from that. We've even felt it up here a little bit. So this top picture in the top left corner was it was at the Monroe Civic Center, and we had refugees come up from all over, kind of like the Homa area and all areas south of New Orleans. But we saw about 400 or 500 refugees over our time in 3 or 4 different days. And we were the first people that they saw. I mean, they showed up, we triaged them. I mean, even me, I have absolutely no medical experience, and I'm out here doing medical things because that's what it takes. Sometimes it just has to be all hands on deck. But for that being said, our students have received a phenomenal opportunity to really impact the community and really help not only just our local community, but also our state community too. So that's been something that has been on the forefront of our mind. We've actually had physicians stay and work these refugee camps, I guess is the best word to say. I don't really know what to call them. But we've actually had physicians that have gone even the past couple of days over there. So we're really trying to stay in touch with them as much as we can and really help them out. And then we've also done things like blood drives, just different first aid tents, healthcare, little drive-by camps and stuff like that. And so we've really been out in the community quite a bit and really impacting our local community. But with Ida coming in, it really gave us a big opportunity to really get our name out there and really work and help. So it's been great for the students. I know, especially the second years, they kind of do a little bit more. And so they really got their feet wet. And for first years, no better welcome to the medical field than 7 weeks into med school and then have something like that. So if you didn't like med school or you were unsure about it, they really know how they feel now at this point. So the third thing we'll talk about is research. Research is obviously a big thing. Any different field is not going to progress without research. So it's something that we want to strive to contribute to here at VCOM as well. And as you can see, I'm definitely not going to go through the laundry list of different topics you see there, but we do have a ton. One great thing about the VCOM system as a whole is if you're a student here at the Louisiana campus and somebody is doing something at the Virginia campus or the Carolina campus, we can collaborate across campuses and work with those. So we can use plenty of different resources that are offered all over rather than just things here at VCOM. So we actually here just opened our research lab in March. And that's obviously given us a better platform to perform a little bit higher volume of research and to up our level of research as well. And so it's been going really good. The faculty have enjoyed it. The students have gotten to participate in more research activities. And so that's been really good all over. And we hope to make a bigger impact as our research center grows as well. And then we also have diversity. So the numbers that you see right now, the 16 and the 53, I believe, I think I have a camera over that, but I think it's 53. These are stats for VCOM as a whole. At VCOM Louisiana, we are actually 19% underrepresented minorities, and believe it or not, in what used to be a pretty male dominated field, we're actually 60% female here. So it's just kind of happened by chance, but we are proud of it. And we want to make sure that, everybody, the world is becoming very globally connected, very diverse. And we want to make sure we have everybody here that can really work through any problem and, in different backgrounds and stuff like that. So that's something that we do take pride in for sure. Then the last thing is our sports medicine program. So right now here at VCOM Louisiana, we are working to develop our sports medicine fellowship. We're looking to grow our relationship with, obviously, ULM being on their campus. That would be a no-brainer. Grow them with that and with Grambling. And we actually right now have physicians going over there almost every day. I can't really remember a day where people haven't been over there, but they're working with them quite a bit. Now with our other campuses, like with Virginia Tech and Auburn, for anybody who's a big sports fan out there knows those are two pretty big elite athletic programs. So that offers a great platform for those students to really get a ton of hands-on training with sports medicine. At ULM, obviously, we realize we are not Auburn or Virginia Tech at the athletic level. At this point, we would take to be you guys because y'all are killing it. But it does offer a good way for, if you want to work in Division I athletics and high level athletics, you can get a lot of hands-on training with that. To kind of tie sports medicine and research together, one big thing that VCOM we really like to toot our horn about is a couple of years ago when concussions got to be a really big deal in the NFL. Students at the Virginia campus actually developed the technology that go into helmets that are used by almost all teams now to reduce the rate of concussions. So that's something that, it can show that even if you're at, like I said, some people don't think that DOs can do certain things or whatever, but that shows, we're working with one of the biggest sports organizations out there and making an impact at that level. So don't feel like you're choosing this, you're lesser, you're just as much and probably more well-rounded than anything else. So, but yeah, that is something we definitely like to brag on. And as a sports fan, I like to drop that in any chance I can get. So now you see preparing future physicians. This is the goal, right? We want to get you to graduation and get you out of here and get you practicing in the world. So we'll look at it from how it looks from an academic standpoint at this point. So as you can see, year one, year two, you're on campus. So the way it works is a lot like a block schedule. That's the easiest way to explain it. So if you're familiar with, if you have friends that go to Louisiana Tech or anything like that, that's kind of how it works. So we actually go 11 weeks on and a week break. And then after block 4, you'll get essentially the month of June off. I think it's really only 3 weeks, and then we get right back into it week 2. At that point, once you start that block 5, you and medicine are basically married together. So I hope it's a good partnership, and I hope you both enjoy each other, because you're going to see a lot of them from then on out. So it's a good system. As you can see, we start off block 1 with foundations of medicine. The reason why we do that is because we have a lot of people that come in with a ton of different backgrounds. I mean, some people don't have any science background. Some people, like we have a couple of students with PhDs. We have a couple of people who have been nurses for 10 years. And so we want to make sure we all get the same foundation of understanding of medicine and kind of train how we want to, and then move us in to, I don't want to say the actual stuff, but then you really start practicing. So we get you all in plane with block 1, then we start moving you through the thing and through all of our curriculum. And then block 8, you can see we have comprehensive reviews for your board exams. And so we obviously take those very seriously. We want to make sure we have very high passage rate. And so we want to give you a full block to study and prepare for those. And then years 3 and 4, you'll be on rotations, and we'll kind of touch on those here in a second. So years 1 and 2, kind of your strategy and format. These are kind of all the ways that we will teach you. These are all the things that you'll learn. You'll learn kind of a variety of ways in class. We'll have lectures and small group discussions. You do get a tons of hands-on training. That's one thing that I personally really enjoy about VCOM, is I feel like our students are very, very well prepared when they get out because they have a lot of hands-on training. I'm kind of one of those people, if you can explain it to me all you want, but if you can't show me and can't actually do it, you don't really mean that much to me. So I really appreciate that we get a lot of hands-on training with our students really from the get-go. I mean, you get here, you're going to get your feet wet, and nobody sits on the sidelines here at all. And then obviously you'll have some independent studying as well. So we have some learning modules that they'll post online, through Moodle or Blackboard, just an online platform, and then study groups. Like we were talking to a smaller group before, is you are a very tight knit group and you all kind of have your niche. That's kind of the same way it needs to be in medical school as well. You need to find your niche, stick with those people because they'll get you through it. They're not saying you can't do it alone, but it's very, very tough to do this alone. So if you can find people that you really enjoy to be around, that will push you to develop academically and professionally, those are the people you really need to hang around in med school, and they'll get you through it. So here's an example of a block schedule. This is actually our true week 5 of what it was this year in our first block. So as you can see, we really you're basically going to have 2 exams each week. We actually had 3 this time. And then kind of your whole day's filled up. You have a couple of afternoons that are free. I say free, you'll probably most of the time be studying, but you're not required to be up here during those days. But yeah, so this is kind of what it looks like. It is rigorous. It's supposed to be. You're in medical school. You're taking on one of the hardest professions ever. So we want to make sure that you're very well prepared. But we do have a lot of faculty, although it does seem like a lot. Our faculty and staff are really, really good at working with everybody and really making it an inclusive environment, and not one where it's so competition driven that you don't feel like you can reach out to a faculty member, a peer, anything like that. So it's not going to be like you against the world. We really want to have a team atmosphere, whether it's student to student, student to professor or instructor. So we really do value that. So don't freak out when you see this. You'll make it through it. Everybody always does. So your second year training, you'll get a lot of early clinical experiences, as you can see, and there's just kind of a list of things. We'll get you back in the community with the med clinics. Disaster training, like we've already said, has been a huge thing at this point with us, what we've been doing the past couple of weeks. And then you also have some electives that you can take. The Spanish is always cool, especially if you're going to go on an international trip. It's always helpful. And then if you're interested in law, policy, we have some different things like that. And if you're ever interested in the administrative side, you can take a few courses, or we offer a few courses that can, push you along that way as well. So our rotational sides, as you can see, we already have quite a few in Louisiana. And so most of the time, so your year 3, you're actually going to go 10 rotations with a big emphasis in primary care. You don't really have a ton of freedom in your 3rd year. We kind of want to get you really well versed in everything, kind of let you experience everything. And then in that 4th year, you kind of have a little bit more freedom to say, okay, I like this area more than this area, and so I want to do this. But that 3rd year, you're going to get a hodgepodge of everything, kind of get your feet wet with all different areas of medicine. But that 4th year, you can pick. So like I was saying, we've got a ton already in Louisiana, a few in Alabama, a few in South Carolina, and then obviously quite a few in Virginia. But these are all just places that we already have agreements with. I thought I had a slide on the next one, but we'll get into like where we have partnerships with. There are some very good names on there, and so we're definitely proud of that. So now we've made it through your first. We've kind of talked about the academic side of it for what your 4 years are going to look like. I promise you, you will have some life outside of medical school, although it's going to take up a ton. We do want to make sure you have a good experience here and enjoy Monroe and get involved in the community and have a good experience all the way through. So with student life, we actually have a student services coordinator who is absolutely one of my best friends, who works very, very hard to make sure that student life is very good here. We have a ton of clubs. So any interest that you have, we probably have a club for that you can join. This is obviously a way to become well connected with any upperclassmen as well, and also meet people in your own group. We have a ton of people right now. I think we have a volleyball team, an intramural volleyball team, soccer team, football, softball. So we can actually use ULM facilities and participate in intramurals there. And so that's been something that a lot of people have really enjoyed. And then running clubs, that's a big thing. Now they run at ungodly times of the day, 5:30 a.m., different things like that. I'm not waking up to run at 5:30, but if that is your cup of tea, also know that that's an option for you as well. So our residency matches, these are numbers that we are extremely proud of. Obviously the 99.7%, you can't do much better than that. That's kind of the ultimate goal. We need to get you matched with somebody and get you out of here. We are actually very excited to actually have match day. So what we do is we have a big map, and everybody will basically put a pin on where you're going, take a picture, and we can put it up on a wall. Obviously, since we're in year 2, we haven't had match day. So it'll be a cool thing once we get there. Most of our students, they do match with primary care residencies. If that's going to be a big emphasis, we want to make sure that's what they're doing. And we obviously, like I said, I truly believe we do meet our mission, and I think the numbers back it up as well. But as you can see, we do have good numbers. We have people going into kind of a wide variety of things, and with a match rate of 99.7. I'm not saying there isn't better out there, but it's going to be tough to find better than 99.7. And then here's some residency locations. Obviously, with the states, you can see the states that we really send people off to. If we're going to have medical schools all in the Southeast, that's where we're going to push people towards. We want to make sure that they're serving those communities, not going out, and this is in no way saying that you couldn't go to a different state, but we want to make sure that we're fulfilling our mission and really serving the Southeast, the Appalachian region, and the Delta region before we go anywhere else. And then as you can see, we do have some big names on here, some that I'm sure you will recognize. So you can just take a look at that. And then our state-of-the-art facilities. So this is one of my last things that I will touch on. Basically, the big thing is when you have a medical school that's only been 2 years old, you can have state-of-the-art facilities. We've just built it. We can have the latest and greatest technology. So up here, you can see different things from our lecture hall on the top left. And it's all acoustically balanced. So it seats about 200 people. I could talk in this manner and you could hear me at the very top left. So we wanted to make sure that if we're going to have a class that big, we want to make sure we're serving everybody and giving everybody the same opportunity. So it's just a phenomenal thing. We also have facial recognition for attendance purposes in there as well. So we have it's this little almost like ball camera thing that sits behind the professor. So if you sit on the first chair on the right the first day, and then you go all the way to the back left, it'll pick up your face and count you there both times. One problem that we have run into is it does not work with masks. So it's been really unuseful at the moment. So hopefully we'll be able to participate and use our really good technology at some point. On the top right, we'll have our OMM lab, or osteopathic manipulative medicine lab. Like I said, you'll have 200 hours in there, so get used to that room. You'll see a lot of it. It's a really cool room. We do have monitors all around it. We have 2 cameras that face the instructor, and so when they're looking, when they're working on a patient, everybody has the same view. So it doesn't matter. Once again, if you're in the back left corner, you're still going to be able to get a good view of the instructor. And we wanted to, once again, if we're going to make a room that big and we're going to require that many people in there, we want to make sure everybody has the same ability to get the same level of education, no matter where you are in the room. And then obviously we have a simulation center, which is probably the most fascinating thing that I believe we have here at VCOM. So we have a sim mom and a sim baby, so we can simulate anything that could happen in birth. We could simulate the first 3-4 hours of birth. We have a sim junior that works through adolescence, and then we have sim man that gets through an adult. So what we like to do is have our students practice as many times as they can on a simulation. Obviously, things can go wrong on a mannequin. They cannot go wrong when you actually see a real person. So we want you to practice as much as you can with the mannequins. That way, when you get out into the real world, you know how to respond, and you're very prepared for that. And then we have kind of the middle bottom picture is our library, and it overlooks ULM's football facility. And so it is a pretty view. And then the bottom right corner is our anatomy lab. It's got about 34 stations in there for a lot of different legal reasons. People like me aren't allowed in there. I'm kind of glad. The cadavers kind of weird me out a little bit, so I try to stay away from that area as much as I can. But obviously, for a medical student, it's a great addition. Our students really get in there pretty quick and get it going. The last thing I'll touch on about the anatomy lab is we have a really good ventilation system. So one thing that you might notice if you go and tour different medical schools is you can really smell formaldehyde in a lot of different places. So we have vents hooked up to the tables that pull that formaldehyde right out and get it out of the building quick, because we've got this nice building. We just built it. We don't want to ruin it with the smell of formaldehyde all the way through. It's not really pleasant for anybody. So we try to get it out of the building as quick as we can. But like I said, we do have state-of-the-art facilities. They're very well maintained, very well kept. And we are very proud of what we have here. So now let's talk about admissions. That's kind of what we're here, right? So these are all of the things that you will need from a required coursework perspective to be admitted into VCOM Louisiana. If you ever have any question about any of them, if you don't know a certain class works, please feel free to email me at any point. I'll actually drop my email and our director of admissions email into the chat after this. So if you have any question about the applicability of a course or anything, please reach out. Don't wait until we've had students that wait until their spring semester of their senior year and then start asking questions. Ask while you're younger. That way you can get ahead and you can plan ahead. Even if you don't have it or you're not on track to have it, we can get you on track to get those classes, but don't wait until the last second. Then we can't do much for you. And I don't want you to have to waste money as well. And then these are our averages. So we do have an average of a science and overall GPA of a 3.6 and then an MCAT of 502. We really don't have any hard and fast MCAT rules, or MCAT cutoffs. And then GPA is a 3.2 to get an interview. But obviously, if just being completely candid, if you do want to get in, you need to have a very competitive GPA. Really staying around these averages is a really good thing to do. But with all that being said, these non-academic factors listed on the right are taken into account just as much as your grades. That's one thing that I have seen that, a lot of places will tell you that they look at the applicant as a whole. and then just go off of your GPA and your MCAT score. We really do look at everything about an applicant. If we take a holistic approach to patients, we want to take a holistic approach to an applicant as well, and a prospective student. So extracurricular activities, community service, volunteerism, those are all big things. Also, another tip is don't wait until right before you apply to try to get all your community service and all your volunteer hours. You're obviously going to have to list when you do it. And if you show that you've done all your community service within, 4 or 5 months of applying, you got them. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but people are going to pick up on it. And so make sure you're very well rounded. If you're just starting off, make sure you're getting those community service hours. It doesn't do you any harm to get as many community service hours as you possibly can. This is also kind of just a last minute wrap up thing. So we do have a Master's of Arts in Biomedical Sciences. We call it a MABS program. So it's with Bluefield College in Virginia. So if for some reason things don't go right your first time through the application process, if you want to take and participate in this, it's a 9-month non-thesis master's program, and it offers a direct acceptance. So if you meet the criteria, you will be automatically accepted into VCOM. So it's a really good thing to look forward to. But I know we're not gonna have to worry about that with anybody here. We're all gonna get on the first try and we're gonna be good. So if you do want to apply, this is how you'll do it. So we start off with a big, you'll apply through a COMAS. It's just the osteopathic medicine, their national brand. So you'll submit an application there, then it comes to us, and then we'll send you a secondary application, but it is by invitation only. So, that it kind of comes with it. Don't just assume that you're going to get one. Then you'll have your letters of recommendation. We'll get you in for an interview day, which is always fun. And then just check it as you go. But if you have any questions about any of this, please feel free to reach out to me at any time, me or our director of admissions. Her name is Tara. We'll be happy to help you out with anything. And then, like I said, this is our open house. So as you can see, we have it Friday, October 22nd from 12 to 4. You can go to that vcom.edu and register at any time. And let us know if you've been on this meeting, you want to attend, shoot me an email, and let me know. And that way we can make sure we get in touch at the open house. And even though it is through Zoom, which kills us again, but just let me know, and we'll make contact, make sure we can get a name with a face. And then lastly, here is our contact information if you want to take a picture of it or write it down or do whatever you need to do with it. Like I've said multiple times, we are happy to answer any questions that you absolutely have. Feel free to reach out with anything. We get questions that are all over the map. So if you have a question, don't feel like it's a dumb one, please ask it. The worst thing you can do is sit there with it, not do anything for it. So if you have something, please reach out to us and we'll do the best we can to help you out. So that is all that I actually have. I know I went through a lot of information at a really fast pace, probably overloaded you. Do we want to open up the floor to questions? How do we want to do this? I'm fine if we want to.
Yes, we can open up the floor to questions. So if anyone has a question, you can either unmute yourself or you can type it in the chat box and I can ask for you.
I have a couple of questions actually.
Yeah.
As far as the applications, I've researched VCOM before, and I read somewhere that when you apply to all campuses, and then you list your top ones, and then it's not necessarily like you're just applying to the Louisiana or the Virginia campus. Is that true?
Yeah, that is true. So what will happen is everybody, once you do apply to all 4 campuses, and we call them buckets. So you end up in different schools bucket, really based on your location. So I'm just going to tell all of you, if you are from Louisiana, there is a 99.9% chance you're going to end up in the Louisiana bucket. You can write Auburn, you could write Virginia, you could write Carolina, but most likely you're going to get sent back to us. Okay. So that's just how it works. But yeah, so if you are from Louisiana, you will probably end up in our bucket. But yes, you do technically apply to all 4 schools.
Okay. And then for the research, does that only start in your 3rd year with those elective rotations? Or do you start earlier than that with the research?
Yeah, so you can, there will be different times where you can always team up with a faculty member. Maybe they have, so we have obviously our clinical faculty and then our biomedical faculty, so our PhD faculties, and they do research all the time. And so if you form a connection with somebody or want to help out on any research project, they'd be more than willing to help. And also on that note, I did forget to mention that we actually do have a DO program, a DO distinction with a research distinction. So if research is your big time passion, which I know it's, sometimes people love it, sometimes people hate it. But if that is something you want to do, you can get recognized for that. You will get that research distinction on your degree. You'll get recognized at graduation and get a little stole. So if that's something that you're truly passionate about, yeah, we have plenty of resources to get you going with research pretty quick.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Just a sneeze.
God bless, Doug. Jackson wants to know what the average class size is.
Yeah, so about 160 is where we usually stay around. So like our lecture halls hold 200 people, so they're not jam-packed. But yeah, usually give or take around that 160 mark is usually a good indicator of where we'll be.
Tia asks, is the general chemistry and inorganic chemistry a combined 6 credits, or is it split between the two?
It'll be split. It'll be split.
Any other questions, guys?
Do you guys have any type of preceptor program? I've heard of schools that do like first year students going into clinics like on a set basis and learning some.
Yeah, so what we do have is I don't necessarily know if it's our first year, so I don't want to lie to you. But we do have a lot of partnerships like with Affinity Health Clinics. We have a ton of them around here, and we have students that will get tons of hours there. And so we send students daily there. But I don't know if they're first year or second years. So, but that is something I'll look into it though.
Thank you.
Yep.
And also just let you guys know, we will be sending out an email with Mr. Ty's email address and also the information about the open house too. So if you didn't get a chance to write that down, don't worry, we will be sending that out. Any other questions?
I do have one more question. Are there any in-person tours or is it all online?
Yeah, you can have in-person tours. I'm actually the person that will give them. So if you're ever up this way, I know you probably have to be going for something specific to come up to Northeast Louisiana like that. But if you're ever coming through or want to get a tour, feel free to drop by. You can either email me or Tara, and we can get you set up and get you an in-person tour.
All right, well, if no one else has any other questions, we just want to thank you so much, Mr. Ty, for coming to spend time with us and telling us about VCOM. It was very informational, and I'm sure lots of our members gained a lot from that. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for having me.
And yeah, so it doesn't look like anyone has any other questions. So you're free to go, Mr. Ty. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So now I'm going to share my screen. Oops. Let's see. Sorry Sorry, technical difficulties. All right, so it is currently not loading. Oh, yes, here it is. Okay, awesome. But so we just want to go over a couple more of the requirements for what it means to be a PPS member. So remember that you need 12 volunteer hours. Jordan will be showing us that some opportunities a little bit later. Also, we have dues that are required. So if Ann Christian, our treasurer, if you want to talk about that, please.
Okay, so as you all know, if you pay $15, it's one semester, and if you pay $25, then it's for two. When you submit your Venmo to me, please make sure that you put your classification, your C number, and your name, obviously, because I have to go in and put all that information. And so if you don't put it, then I have to go find it. So it just helps me out a lot if y'all put everything in there. And when I get your Venmo, I'll like the Venmo. Also, if you have already submitted your Venmo and haven't included that information, please go comment on the Venmo so that I can go back and look at everyone's comments rather than trying to go find it.
Awesome, thank you. And so dues are due by our next meeting, which is October 6th. So if you have not done that, you still have a couple weeks, please go ahead and do that as soon as possible. And then just another reminder that we are requiring cameras on for the meetings. And now I'll turn it over to Monique, our senior representative, and she will be conducting the freshman rep election.
Hi guys. So the moment you've all been waiting for, I'm sure there's major butterflies, major nerves right now, because we are going to start our freshman speeches for election, and the choices for who you want to vote will be in the little sign up at the end to check attendance. So we'll all be included in there. So up first, we have Miss Chloe.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Chloe Benoit. Before I get started, I do want to wish good luck to my fellow candidates, Theresa, and I believe it's Lance or Landon, one of the two. But I wish you both good luck. Sorry. But a little bit about myself. I am majoring in biology with a concentration in allied health. My ultimate goal is to get into dental school and become an orthodontist. I understand that this journey is going to be challenging, require a lot of hard work and dedication, and really a lot of support from other people, which is why I'm extremely thankful for the opportunity to be a member of the Pre-Professional Society. And if chosen to be the freshman representative, I would love to be a helping hand to all of my fellow freshman members and ensure that you all have the best opportunities as possible to achieve all of your goals as well. I believe I qualify for the responsibility of freshman representative for a few reasons. Firstly, I'm a very committed and loyal person. I've always put 110% into everything that I do. I've also always been the person to stand up or voice the opinion of others who are too afraid or too shy to do so themselves. I also come from a very small town where everyone knows everyone, which plays a big part in why I love talking to people and getting to know them. I also played a lot of sports growing up, and I understand the importance of teamwork and how important it is to make sure any organization or team or really anything in society runs very efficiently and effectively. So I definitely do value everyone's opinions and everyone's interest. And so if you do choose me to be freshman representative, I do promise to ensure that every single one of your voices are heard. So I really would be honored to have your votes, and thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, Chloe. Next up, we have Lance.
Hey guys, My name is Lance Castile. I graduated from Notre Dame High School in Crawley, which if you don't know where that is, that's about 30 miles west of UL. I'm a biology major and I have dreams of attending dental school. Once I graduate, my dental school that I would like to go to is LSU Dental School in Baton Rouge, but I'd be willing to go anywhere. And I decided to join PPS in order to connect with people with similar interests and goals as I have. I was very excited when I learned the opportunity to be freshman representative. And if I'm given this opportunity with your vote, I would be able to help members of PPS, especially fellow freshmen. And I love helping others. And this is obviously one of the main reasons why I'm pursuing a career in dentistry. I've showcased the love I have for helping others throughout my life. A requirement for my elementary school and high school was to get service hours every semester. At first, it pushed me out of my comfort zone to complete the hours, but as I grew older, I realized I had fallen in love with serving others. My most recent service project, I helped coach at the local elementary school, their football team, and I actually went to go help coach them yesterday, and I plan on going on my days off. I also possess great leadership ability. In high school, I was the beta president my senior year. And on the football team, I was one of the leaders, especially on the defense. And I helped the team reach the semifinals. And as freshman representative, I would use my leadership as a way to help all of us succeed. And I want to thank you all for your time and also wish the other people running for representative luck also. And I hope y'all decide to choose me as your freshman representative. I hope y'all have a great evening.
Thank you so much, Lance. And next up is our last candidate, Theresa.
Hey guys, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes, you're fine.
Okay, I want to apologize. I was just in the dorms and we're having a fire drill. So I'm out of breath because I had to haul my computer down here. So I'm just going to apologize for that and get to a quiet place real quick. Okay, so hey guys, my name is Theresa. If you already read my bio, you know that I'm a kinesiology pre-professional major, hoping to also minor in biology. My ultimate goal is to be a pediatric doctor of physical therapy, hopefully specializing in special needs kids. So just a little bit about myself. I'm a little bit of a nerd when it comes to anything medical related. I just love to learn about that stuff. I'm really enjoying my classes. And so I'm super, super excited to be a part of this club and be able to be surrounded by people with all the same goals as myself, and just get to be a part of this camaraderie. I believe that I would do great as freshman rep because I work amazing with others, but I also have some like natural leadership skills. I've had tons of leadership experience in the past, so I definitely know what it takes, and I'm so ready to commit to that. And lastly, I just want to thank y'all all for your time and hope I get this opportunity to help out the board and just help make this club as best as it can be. Thanks, guys. And I'm sorry again about the noise and about the fact that I'm so out of breath because I'm walking right now.
Okay, and that is it. Thank you guys so much. All of your speeches were great.
Yes, thank you guys. Sorry about the fire alarm for everyone, but y'all did wonderful anyway. So now I'm going to turn it over to Jordan Richard, our volunteer coordinator.
Hey guys, I hope you're having a good evening. So I have two slides. The first slide is going off of, I saw a comment in the chat that I answered about group volunteer activities. So these are all opportunities that are PPS specific. And then the next slide will just be general things that you can sign up for on your own. So first off, we have Bridgeway Healthcare and Hospice, and I am in contact with them. I don't have specific dates yet because, well, I'll get to that in a second. But the general idea is that we're going to have 2 fall fests with their, I was going to say students, with their patients that are in nursing home situations. So I am going to be sending out an email, and it's going to have a bunch of different things. But one of them related to the Bridgeway Healthcare and Hospice is a sign up of if you're interested. Because when working with hospice, you have to go through a lot of paperwork and just background information. So I need to first kind of get a sign up so I can relay to y'all the information of how to sign up with hospice, and then we'll get into planning the events. And if we have enough, then we will plan those events. But I know this first opportunity takes a little bit more work than the others do. The other ones just kind of sign up and show up. But the great thing about this, it's medical related volunteer opportunities. So it's really worth the work, and you can eventually become a volunteer on your own time and go whenever you want. That's not just group hours. So I definitely encourage you guys to sign up if you're interested. The second opportunity is at Second Harvest Food Bank. It's going to be so great. I'm really excited. They were the first opportunity that we made with them as a group. It's October 15th, which is a Friday, from 1 to 3 p.m. I think it's 3:30. I don't know why I put 3. 1 to 3 or 3:30. I'll clarify that in the email. And it's just going to be helping them package food and distribute it either to where it needs to go or just in their facility. And then we're going to be making another possible date in November. So I have 15 slots for that. That will be included in the email as a sign up. And there is a link on that sign up after you fill out the information that I need for you to go and sign up, and you have to create an account with them. But again, if you go through that process, you can sign up whenever you want on your own. And then lastly, the last sign up is a sign up for letter stuffing at Hospice of Acadiana. So they need help from October 4th through October 14th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Just stuffing letters, putting stamps on them. If you have neat handwriting, you can even address them for them. Really easy tasks. They just need the help. And these are the same people that we did the Calcutta house with. So like I said, I'll have another sign up for that. And if someone can go to the next slide for me. Thank you, whoever did that. So these two opportunities are just kind of go on your own. Science Day, you will visit Dr. Sophie Pluvier in BO 108, that's her office, or email her and just help her. So Science Day is an annual thing at UL for incoming students with people who are just interested in the science fields, and they get to walk around, see our facilities, see if they're interested in what UL has to offer. And it's really important as PPS members, you know, to have school pride and show the best of the best, because I think that's what we have. And lastly, we have Disability Awareness Week that the Beacon Club is going to be hosting in October. So on that Tuesday, there is a safety walk where everyone will meet and go throughout campus and kind of make a list of possible ways that the campus can improve on meeting those needs for those that are disabled on campus. And Friday, October 22nd is an all-inclusive art show. So if you have artistic talents or know of an artist, a local artist that could donate art for this art show, there's that. And then the last opportunity is not a part of their awareness week, but also still from the Beacon Club. They have their Joie de Vivre all-inclusive fashion show, November 20th. So you can either attend or help out. I'm not really sure what they need because I just kind of received this information, but reach out to the Beacon Club and I'm sure they will receive you and any help they need. But just lastly, I wanted to remind y'all that I will be sending out an email with reminding y'all of all those opportunities, and then with the sign up for Bridgeway, Second Harvest, and Hospice of Acadiana. That's it for me.
I have a quick question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. For the art show, so we are going to help out, or are we going to have to donate for the volunteer hours?
The email that I received said to donate art, but I can possibly get more information on that and then get back to y'all.
Okay, so if we donate something, how many hours would we get in for volunteers?
That is a great question that I did not think about.
We'll
No.
discuss that and get back to you.
Okay.
Usually we do $10 is equal to 1 service hour, but I know that art can get expensive. So we'll discuss that and let you know.
Okay. I will send my email in the chat.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jordan, for doing that for us. So we also have Get Back Night. So we actually have one today that ends at 10 p.m. at Grub Burger, which is off of Cali Saloon. So if you're feeling hungry, please go ahead and go eat there, because what we receive in gift bags, we will be able to donate to the American Heart Association. So like I said earlier, $10 is equal to 1 service hour. And what you do is you'll email your receipt to ullppsvolunteer@gmail.com to make sure that we have those hours noted for you.
And make sure when you're checking out, you mention the give back night, or else the money won't come back to us.
Yes, please do that. Please do that. Yeah, don't just go. And like, even if you see strangers, they can be like, hey, like, mention PPS, that's just more money for us. So y'all should also do that as well. And then next slide, please. And so here are the future meeting dates. So you can take a picture of this if you want, and then this is who's speaking at each one. But I'll also be sending out an email with this slide so you can have it. So you don't have to take a picture if you don't want to. But yeah, just mark these in your calendar. And next slide, please. Or you could go to our website, ullpps.com, and we have a calendar tab that you can go to. And if you hit where it says Google Calendar, like the little plus button, it will add that directly to your calendar, so you don't even have to worry about writing it down. It's super easy. And we'll also be putting the Zoom link and the speaker information on there as well. So stay connected. If you're not in a class group meet, please do that. Again, that'll be sent out in the email post meeting for each class. And also follow us on social media, because we do post a lot of updates and other fun things on there. And then for scholarships, if Dr. Felgenhauer, if you would like to speak on that.
Yes, the scholarships I talked to you about in the last meeting, but they're on the website. The only thing that I want to make sure that you do is 2 things, or actually 3. Make sure that you put all the information that is asked nicely typed or written very clearly so that I can read it. What I'm adding this time, so it'll help me out, because a lot of times I'll see someone's name and I don't exactly recognize them. So I'm asking, like we do when you apply to one of the professional schools, is to put a picture of yourself in the packet. So just a little picture of yourself would be great. Just put that in there. And these are due to me the last day of classes, and you can put them in the mailbox in my in room 108 in the biology office. Do you have any questions? I get a lot of emails.
I have a question, if you don't mind.
Yes.
So when you visit the website, it lists the scholarships as for fall 2020, but they are updated for this semester, right?
Right. That's just
okay.
We can just add 21.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Sorry. Thanks for mentioning it. Those little things we can sometimes miss with everything going on. I appreciate it.
Awesome. All right, and then, so now if everyone, if you want to take out your phone, scan this QR code. This is how we're taking attendance. And also, this is how we will be voting for our freshman representative. Caroline also added it into the chat if that would be easier to use the link for that. So please go ahead and do that now. And we will be sending out, again, in that email post meeting with the results from the freshman election. So you can stay tuned. We'll be posting to social media as well. But we'll give y'all a few seconds to go ahead and get that done.
And if it asks you to log in, make sure you log in on your university Microsoft account. And if it gives you any problems for some reason, email me at ullppssecretary@gmail.com.
All right, I think we can go to the next slide. Okay, so we're also selling masks, and this is not a super good picture of what the mask looks like. They turned out so much better than that. So if you guys can see, it's black and it has this really cool logo, and also has like these adjustable straps and everything, and super breathable, super lightweight. They are really, really nice. We will be selling them for $7. So this would just be a good way to rep PPS around campus, and it's just very clean looking as well. So ways you can pay is you can bring $7 cash and put that in Dr. Fogenhauer's box in an envelope with your name and classification, or you can Venmo us at ULL PPS, just how you would do for dues. And please, just make sure you put your name, your C number, and classification on the envelope or in the comments of Venmo. And we will set up a meeting time where you can come and pick it up. Or even if you just see me around campus, myself or Ann Christian, you can let us know. We'll have some on us. And if you want to buy it from us directly, just around campus, that also works. But if not, we'll set up a meeting date, like a range of time that you can come and pick up a mask. And are there any questions that we can answer? No, well, if no one has any questions, y'all are free to go. Thank you so much.
One thing I need to say.
Not free to go yet.
As you know, we're writing, the committee are writing letters of recommendation right now. Please, please, please put your information, all the information required for your application in an envelope or a folder with your name on it and your ID, and put it in my mailbox in room 108. It's very, very difficult with my committee with emailing. We had to do the emailing during COVID, but now please, if you're applying, and if you are applying, it's time that you get your folder into me. And we're trying to meet once a week on a Tuesday. So just the last thing, please, please put your folder in my box, and we'll be happy to get your letters out. Thanks.
I have one question. The urgency is for like if you are applying this round, if you're applying like next round in 2022, we don't have to turn them in yet?
Nope.
Okay.
For this round. That's all I had.
Awesome. So there's no more questions. And just for clarification, Dr. Fogenhauer is talking about if you're applying to either like med school, PA school, dental school, something like that. That's not the same thing as the scholarship packet, because we were getting some questions about that. Scholarship packets is a separate thing that's due later on. All right, but yes, y'all are free to go. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope this was informational for y'all.
Bye, everybody.